Hello friends, here I am in Vermont. You could probably tell by the hat and turtleneck and jacket that it's no longer as warm as it was a few weeks ago when I was all the way down in Key West, or just last week when we were in New Orleans. We are by a farm, beautiful red barn back there. I just want to show you, we're also by the lake down here in Addison, Vermont. There's a marina down there where we're lucky to be staying. We're feeling really grateful to be staying here. And yeah, it's colder than it was in Key West. And so I want to talk about polarity. Cold versus hot, up versus down. There's some really interesting things to chew on, to meditate upon with regards to polarity.
Who all can tell you not to sing your story? Who all can tell you that you're singing off key? You are the dancer, you are not the dancer. You are the song, not the one who sang. Be a beautiful songbird. No, you tell the truth. You tell the truth.
So I want to talk about polarity because I think there's something really juicy here for us to chew and reflect upon. We live in a universe of polarity. We live in a world of polarity. What does that mean? We have up and down. We have wide and narrow. We have light and darkness. We could also say feminine, masculine, though that's not a great example. But we live in a world of contrast. So that's another way to think about it. Polarity is that we have contrast. We have good and bad contrast. And so when you look at the universe, all of reality, we're looking at what emerges out of contrast. So for example, we look at stars, right? We look at the sun, we look at stars out maybe on a night sky, we can see the stars. If there were no contrast, if there were no darkness, if it were all light, we wouldn't see any stars, right? So this whole universe, maybe there are other universes where there is no polarity, but in this universe, everything exists in that contrast. And what happens, though, is that we create stories about polarity, about opposites. You know, if you stick with me for a moment, for some things we don't necessarily apply it. You know, up isn't better than down, wide isn't better than narrow, big isn't better than small. But there are some situations where we do start to apply interpretation and stories. So for example, once we start to talk about light and dark, we start to create stories about polarity. And and there's a lot of languaging that happens in the world where light and enlightenment, for example, is good, and darkness and maybe ego are associated with bad. But what if that's not the case? You know, same thing as forward and backward. You know, we have more positive connotations with the idea of moving forward, not so much with the idea of moving backward. But one of my favorite examples of this is a swing. If you think about swinging, your regular, swinging from a tree. In fact, I think I saw one behind me. I don't know if you can see it hanging from a branch. If you're swinging from a tree from a limb, when we swing forward, there's all the glee, all of the joy, but you can't swing forward without swinging back, right? There's no just forward momentum. You can't go up without having been down. Again, we don't know the experience of all light without the contrast of shadow. Again, we can't see the stars if they're not against a black backdrop of space. So if we start to drop all of our concepts that backward is worse than forward, that darkness is worse than light, then we fully know that swinging backwards in the swing is just as perfect as swinging forward in the swing. So if we take that metaphor of the swing and we bring it to our human life, right now with the pandemic we're experiencing, we're in a massive, collectively, humanity, the whole planet, we're essentially in a massive backswing, right? We are in contraction as opposed to expansion. I'm sure everybody can feel the contraction. Everybody's contracting into their homes, contracting into their space. We're going to be experiencing contraction for a while. Could be weeks, could be months, and even longer as potentially the economy contracts. So we're experiencing contraction. We're experiencing the pullback of the swing. And so if we can let go of the stories that this is hard, that this is difficult, that this is bad. Most is, hard may be always true. Hard versus easy is also polarity. But hard can be as beautiful as easy. Backwards can be as beautiful as forward. Contraction can be as beautiful as expansion. Black holes can be as beautiful as stars. And so, although we're not going to change the nature of what we are all collectively experiencing in this worldwide phenomenon, we're not going to change what's happening in this collective contraction. We're not going to change the collective, essentially, darkness perhaps that we're experiencing. We can still embrace it as completely perfect, just as if we were swinging in a swing. We're embracing the backward movement because we know we're going to swing forward. It's inevitable. And the piece thing here that when I sit with this metaphor and I think we're all in this contraction, we're all pulling back on the swing of humanity, we need to also let go of the expectation that we're going to swing forward back to where we were, because we're not. Just like when you're swinging in a swing, you swing back and then you swing forward, and the spot that you'd swing forward to is not going to be the same spot that you were before you swung back. It might be higher, it might be lower. It's going to be different. And so just as in the swing, you're not holding on to the pole and trying not to swing back and trying to stay forward. It's not possible. We need to individually practice whatever helps us not to try to cling to reality as we knew it a few weeks ago. We need to let ourselves go with the movement, with the flow, and be in the presence, be in the moment of wherever this backswing is taking us. We don't know how back forward, how back it's going to take us, how long it's going to take us. And we just need to be with wherever we are in total acceptance of it, knowing that we're going to swing forward. And it's my firm belief that the more we individually and then as humanity, we are in the space of allowing, doing whatever we can do, because it's not about inaction. It's about allowing what's taking place to be without gripping, without the grasping or the suffering that emerges from things not being as they used to be, but letting them be as they are and then doing whatever can be done. The more we can be in that place of essentially centeredness and total acceptance of what is, the more that we're going to swing forward into a whole new level of collective consciousness, of deeper wisdom within ourselves in how we engage with our families, how we engage with the world. So I see this as not necessarily an easy experience. It's not easy for any of us. It's changed everyone's lives. But it doesn't need to not be beautiful. And the more that we can embrace the beauty and the perfection, even in the contraction, even in the backswing, even in the unknown, right? There's another piece of polarity, unknown versus known. So we're deeply pulling back into the unknown. None of us knows. And the more that we can be in that perfection and let it be perfect, the more that forward swing is going to take us into even greater places, into even greater heights than we ever even dreamed possible. So my friends, if you're feeling like you're having a hard time staying centered, staying in the acceptance of the moments, finding that deep rootedness within yourself, I'd be delighted for you to join me. I'm offering free meditations and community connection on Monday nights through Zoom so that we come together as a collective completely committed to supporting each other, to being present, not being Pollyanna, but also knowing that we have deep, deep resources within ourselves that we can tap at this time, and that this opportunity is a phenomenal, beautiful, perfect backswing. So if you're feeling like you need the support, the community, the inspiration, the motivation, please join us. I'd be delighted to have you and support you in any way I can. Much love to you. And of course, you don't have to need support in order to join us. If you just want to come join beautiful community and meditate and share your light and your joy and whatever is helping you, we would love to have you. And if this video is in any way interesting or helpful to you, please do share the love by subscribing or sharing the video. I'm all about helping to spread a little bit of a positive ripple effect during these challenging times. So I'd be delighted to have your support that way.